My friends, it's Fun Friday! I may not be as excited about that because I just recorded an 8-minute video that I already did all this fun stuff, but it just stopped. My computer turned off, so now I have to do it again, and I lack as much energy and excitement because I already told you the joke and everything, but I will still just pretend that didn't happen. I had, in fact, push record because I have gotten good about that, but for some reason my computer. So sorry everybody, but first of all, can you tell I'm home again? This is Colorado and I'm home, and I have a funny joke for you, but it's just nice to have Pedro back with me because you guys know I didn't get to bring him with me. Okay, are you guys ready for the terrible joke? All right. What do people in prison use to communicate with one another? I don't know. Oh, cell phones? Oh, still just makes me laugh to make him laugh with, yes. So cell phones, that was actually a pretty good pun. Alright, so I'm going to finish off a couple of Malawi stories. First of all, I know I said I would save the snake story as a short one, but so when we were driving down to the godforsaken house, we saw, at night, we saw a green mamba go under the car, and we were hoping that we had run it over, but unfortunately it didn't die. And then later, a couple of days later, we saw a chameleon eating a green mamba. Like, what? Yes, eating the green mamba. So it was like halfway done and his head was already sucked in to the chameleon, but I thought it would have been the other way around, but because of that, I felt comfortable going close and we took pictures, but it was just the weirdest thing, but I guess that happens pretty commonly. So the other, and before, so I don't forget when I finish, let's do the song. The John Prine song of the day is Great Compromise. Alright, so I want to tell you guys about my malaria incident and my life story with mosquitoes, okay? I know there's probably many of you out there, but I am the one who gets bit. So if there's friends around that they appreciate me because the mosquitoes don't even mess with them, this happens to my mom too, and I think it's just because we have sweeter blood. That's my personal opinion. But so because of that, when I went to Malawi, somebody said, take garlic pills that will help keep them away, and spray this 100% DEET on there. And so of course I tried all of those things, and the mosquitoes, it was like it made me even more delicious to them. So of course I got malaria, but these mosquitoes, for some reason, were only, most of them biting me in this area on each of my arms. It was the weirdest thing. I had 50 bug bites between those two areas at one time, and you can imagine how hard it was not to scratch. So, but I thought taking the anti-malarial drug, that it would keep me from getting malaria, but they don't tell you until after you get malaria, it just makes it less severe that way. So I was like, well, it would have been good to know. But the mosquitoes would, even as I would have my arm up against the bug net, they would be biting me as I was sleeping if any part of my body was up against the bug net. So anyway, so I got a ton of bug bites, so it was only a matter of time before I got malaria. So let me tell you, I got malaria. I was on a village trip at the time. We were in this little area for a couple of days, and can I just tell you, medicine there is like, so even if they have an emergency room, which they did, but waiting so long even for the doctor to come, so I waited 2 hours and I was so sick, like, oh my gosh, like the worst, oh my gosh. So, yeah, so finally, the lady gave me some medicine and then took me into the doctor's office. She's like, I have to give you a shot. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, she's closing the curtain, and I'm like, huh. And then she's like, oh, in your butt. So I had a quinine shot in my butt, and she told me, don't tense up as she's giving me the shot. And of course I did. So I actually had a Charlie horse in that part of my butt, like, for so long that would just ache. So that was fun, but thankfully I threw a lot of people's prayers. Like, I literally the next day, 24 hours, I was better, which I know a lot of people, it takes a lot longer for recovery and you're in the hospital because you're dehydrated. So that is my malaria story. So I think that's all the stories I have for you guys now. I told you the song and I gave you a joke, and I'm so glad to be back here. And I love, this is my favorite thing to do now, is go out and walk for about 20 minutes, mile or mile and a half. And it's my time to, like, put on my headphones and get worship on and pray. And it's just great because then also I'm going to get more tan, so I'm doing that this afternoon too. So I'm excited to try to do it every day, except in Rochester. I did even go out at the very beginning of the huge windstorm, and literally that's when I walked by a guy's tree that had just fallen in the street from his house. So I was really grateful that none of them actually fell on me. So, all right. I hope you guys now feel like you are prepared to start your fun weekends. And I will talk when I have more to say.